Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Global Language Podcast. If you have been listening to this series, you already know Daniel's story. In part 1, Daniel felt stuck in his life and decided to change one small habit. In part 2, that small habit started to grow and influence other parts of his day. Now, in part 3, we will see what happens when those habits begin to change not only your routine, but also your confidence, your work, and your future. Many people expect change to happen quickly. They want results in a week or maybe in a month. But real change is usually slow. It happens quietly, almost invisibly, day after day. Let's repeat an important sentence. Real change is slow but powerful. Again, real change is slow but powerful. Daniel didn't suddenly become a completely different person. He still had lazy days. Some mornings he didn't want to wake up early. Some evenings he still wasted time on his phone. But something inside him had changed. He now believed that small actions mattered. Let's repeat this sentence. Small actions matter more than we think. Again, small actions matter more than we think. After 3 months, Daniel noticed something interesting at work. He was more focused during meetings. When his manager asked questions, Daniel had clearer ideas. He had started reading books about productivity, communication, and problem-solving during his morning reading habit. Without realizing it, he was learning new ways to think. One day, during a team meeting, Daniel shared an idea about improving a small process in the company. It wasn't a huge idea. It was just a small suggestion that could save time. His manager looked at him and said, "That's actually a really good idea." That moment felt important. Why? Because Daniel realized something. His small habit of reading was slowly improving the way he thought. Let's repeat this idea. Learning a little every day changes how you think. Again, learning a little every day changes how you think. Confidence doesn't come from motivation speeches. It comes from evidence. It comes from seeing yourself improve. After that meeting, Daniel walked home thinking about something new. What else could I improve? Let's repeat that question. What else could I improve? Again, what else could I improve? This is how growth begins. When people start asking better questions, their lives begin to change. Daniel decided to add another small habit to his routine. He started walking for 20 minutes every evening. Nothing intense, no complicated workout, just walking. At first, it felt simple, almost too simple. But walking had an unexpected benefit. It helped him think. During those walks, Daniel started reflecting on his day. He thought about what went well and what he could improve tomorrow. Let's repeat an important sentence. Reflection helps us grow. Again, reflection helps us grow. Sometimes he asked himself questions like, what did I do well today? Again, what did I do well today? What could I do better tomorrow? Again, what could I do better tomorrow? These questions slowly changed his mindset. Instead of feeling stuck, Daniel began feeling curious about his own life. Another important sentence. Curiosity leads to growth. Again, curiosity leads to growth. After 6 months, something surprising happened. Daniel's manager called him into the office. At first, Daniel was nervous. Many people feel nervous when a manager asks to talk. but the conversation was different from what he expected. His manager said, "I've noticed your improvement over the past few months. You seem more focused, more confident, and more engaged in your work." Daniel was surprised. He hadn't noticed how much he had changed. Sometimes other people see our growth before we do. Let's repeat this sentence. Consistent effort creates visible results. Again, consistent effort creates visible results. His manager then said something important. "I'd like you to take more responsibility on the next project." This was the first time Daniel had been offered a leadership role. It wasn't a promotion yet, but it was an opportunity. An opportunity created by small habits. Daniel walked out of the office thinking about the past 6 months. He remembered how everything began. Just 15 minutes of reading in the morning. That was it. Let's repeat this idea together. Big changes often begin with small habits. Again, big changes often begin with small habits. Now, let's connect this idea to your English learning. Many people say they want to speak English fluently, but they try to study for long hours and then stop after a few days. Instead, imagine this approach. Listening to English 15 minutes every day, repeating sentences, practicing shadowing. Little by little, your brain becomes more comfortable with the language. Let's repeat an important sentence. Consistency builds fluency. Again, consistency builds fluency. This is exactly why podcasts like Global Language Podcast exist. Not for one big lesson, but for daily learning, daily listening, daily improvement. Let's practice some shadowing sentences now. Repeat after me. Every day is a chance to improve. Again, every day is a chance to improve. Small steps lead to big progress. Again, small steps lead to big progress. Your habits shape your future. Again, your habits shape your future. Now, let me ask you 3 final questions. Think about your answers. First question. What habit could improve your life the most right now? Again, what habit could improve your life the most right now? Second question. What small action could you start tomorrow? Again, what small action could you start tomorrow? Third question. What would your life look like if you improved just 1% every day? Again, what would your life look like if you improved just 1% every day? These questions are powerful because they help you think about your future differently. Daniel didn't change his life overnight. He simply changed what he did every day. And that changed everything. Let's finish part 3 with a final shadowing practice. Repeat after me. My habits are shaping my future. Again, my habits are shaping my future. I improve a little every day. Again, I improve a little every day. Small habits can transform my life. Again, small habits can transform my life. Something even more powerful than habits themselves, identity. Because the real transformation happens when habits stop feeling like effort and start feeling like who you are. Let's repeat this important sentence. Real change happens when habits become part of your identity. Again, real change happens when habits become part of your identity. At first, Daniel saw himself as someone trying to improve. He was experimenting. He was testing new routines. But after months of consistent habits, something changed inside his mind. He no longer said, "I'm trying to read more." Instead, he began saying something different. "I am a reader." Repeat that sentence. I am a reader. Again, I am a reader. That might sound like a small difference, but it's actually huge. When people say, "I'm trying," the habit still feels temporary. But when people say, "I am," the habit becomes part of their identity. Let's repeat another powerful sentence. Your identity shapes your behavior. Again, your identity shapes your behavior. Once Daniel believed he was a reader, waking up early to read didn't feel like discipline anymore. It felt normal. It felt natural. And this idea applies to many areas of life. Someone who exercises regularly doesn't always say, "I'm forcing myself to work out." Instead, they say, "I'm an active person." Let's repeat this sentence. Healthy habits come from a healthy identity. Again, healthy habits come from a healthy identity. Daniel noticed that his mindset was changing in other ways too. When he faced challenges at work, he didn't panic like before. Instead, he asked himself a simple question. What can I learn from this? Repeat that question. What can I learn from this? Again, what can I learn from this? This question changed how he reacted to problems. Instead of seeing obstacles, he started seeing opportunities to grow. One afternoon, Daniel's friend Sarah met him for coffee again. She looked at him and said something interesting. "You seem calmer these days. What changed?" Daniel thought for a moment before answering. "My habits changed the way I think." Let's repeat that sentence. My habits changed the way I think. Again, my habits changed the way I think. He explained that the biggest difference wasn't just reading books or walking more. The biggest difference was believing that small progress mattered. Before, he wanted big results quickly. Now, he trusted slow progress. Let's repeat an important idea. Trust the process. Again, trust the process. Slow improvement might feel invisible in the beginning, but after months or years, the results become powerful. Think about learning English. Many learners feel frustrated because progress feels slow. But imagine listening, speaking, and practicing every day for 1 year. Your brain changes, your confidence grows, your vocabulary expands, and you realize something. You understand conversations that once felt impossible. Let's repeat this sentence. Daily practice builds real fluency. Again, daily practice builds real fluency. That's exactly why you're here, listening to Global Language Podcast. Every episode is another small step. Every sentence you repeat is another small improvement. Every minute you listen is another moment your brain is learning. Now, let's practice some shadowing sentences together. Repeat after me. Progress is built 1 day at a time. Again, progress is built 1 day at a time. Consistency beats motivation. Again, consistency beats motivation. My habits are shaping my future. Again, my habits are shaping my future. Now, let's imagine something. Imagine yourself 1 year from today. What habits do you want to have? Think about that question. What habits do you want to have 1 year from now? Again, what habits do you want to have 1 year from now? Maybe you want to speak English confidently. Maybe you want to read more. Maybe you want to exercise regularly. Maybe you want to focus better. All of those goals begin the same way, with one small habit. Let's repeat the most important sentence of this entire episode. Small habits create big change. Again, small habits create big change. Daniel's life didn't transform overnight, but 1 year later, his routine looked very different. He woke up earlier. He read regularly. He walked every evening. He felt calmer, stronger, and more confident. But the most important change was invisible. He believed in his ability to improve. Let's repeat that idea. Belief grows through action. Again, belief grows through action. Now, before we finish this episode, let's do one final shadowing practice. Repeat each sentence clearly and confidently. I am improving every day. Again, I am improving every day. My habits make me stronger. Again, my habits make me stronger. I build my future step by step. Again, I build my future step by step. Small actions create big results. Again, small actions create big results. And finally, I believe in my ability to grow. Again, I believe in my ability to grow. Thank you for spending this time with Global Language Podcast. If you enjoyed this series and want to keep improving your English with stories, real sentences, and shadowing practice, make sure you subscribe to Global Language Podcast so you never miss a new episode. And remember something important. Your life is not changed by one big moment. Your life is changed by what you do every day. See you in the next episode of Global Language Podcast.